Chesapeake Angler Magazine.
Okay, the stream has
Angler.
begun. The stream has begun, and I simply need to click.
Look how shiny those are.
I know, right? Super cool.
Super.
Hello, everybody in live stream land. We're getting ready to hit the button on the podcast. We haven't actually started recording it yet. Wanted to say hello.
Happy Groundhog's Day. We didn't do it on the last podcast.
It is Groundhog's Day, isn't
Let's
it?
go redo it.
You can do the whole thing over again. Get Baron back on the phone.
Yeah.
Get him back on the Zoom.
The zoomies.
Zoom.
My dogs had the zoomies.
Okay. We always have to kind of kick this thing off before people show up. Hopefully we're on all the places and all the things.
We are.
We are. Okay, I'm going to hit record.
You recording?
I'm recording, Clark.
Hello, hello.
Hey, everybody, I'm Brian.
And I'm the Groundhog.
Welcome to the Maryland Fishing Line, episode 37. Today is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, Groundhog Day.
Yes.
What did Puxatawny Phil do today?
Well, let me give you the whole rundown
Okay.
of this
waiting.
morning. So I'm watching it, and there's 20 men in top hats surrounding this little tiny groundhog on this little stump. It's snowing, it's dark, there's TV cameras, and the groundhog still saw shadows for 6 more weeks of winter.
How does that even happen? That's not true.
Well, the rest of the world laughs because not only are we corrupt as a society, we base our weather off of groundhog. So, joke's on everyone else. That groundhog's probably right. Have you looked at the 10-day forecast?
I don't know. I don't care. It's March can't get here soon enough for me. I'm ready for March.
Yeah.
We got to zoom through. Well, we zoom through February because it's a short month. Hey, everybody, this is a podcast where we spend a little bit of time every week talking about Maryland fishing.
Yep.
From saltwater to fresh, we cover it all. The Maryland Fishing Line is a production of the Angler Magazine Chesapeake edition. Tonight, we got a little bit of a fishing report, if you can call what's going on in February a fishing report. We're going to do a little catch-up. I got some weird news. I found a super weird news article that you're just going to get a huge...
I haven't looked at it yet, like always.
We're going to talk specifically about fishing kayak paddle choices and selection.
Which is more valuable than it sounds, so don't leave us.
Yeah, no, it actually is. I was doing
when
my
you're
homework.
up creek or down creek with that one.
Yeah, you don't want to be up the creek without a paddle. And, of course, I don't know that we even have them this or that. Did I do this or that? I don't even know if I finished them out or not. I'll have to go look. It looks like we've got them, so we're going to get there. And,
Never
of course,
fear.
hopefully all of our
screw it
live
up.
stream folks will play along with that. Before we get too deep, though, I do need to pay the bills and thank the sponsors.
I started-
Waterfront Marine in Edgewater, Maryland, dealing in Robalo fishing boats, Chaparral pleasure boats, Bennington pontoon boats. You can find out more about them at their website at waterfrontmarine.com. JMJ Firearms in Mechanicsville, Maryland. Modern Air, HVAC in Mechanicsville, Maryland. Hey, get your air conditioning serviced before you need it.
It's just like our bike service.
You need to think about that air conditioning servicing.
What's that thing with the
now.
ducts with the electricity and they zap out all the dust?
Duck snappers.
It
I
looks-
don't know.
Those videos always suck me in on YouTube.
Robin Caballero, Remax 1, Stoney's Kingfishers in Solomons, Maryland, Scott's Cove Marina in Deal Island, Maryland, Huntingtown Automotive in Huntingtown, Eat Chesapeake in Dunkirk, Rosehaven, and Bowie, otherwise known as the Chesapeake Grill. You're going to find links to all of these fine establishments in the show notes or in the show description. Just make sure to let them know you heard about them here. Who's in the live stream?
Charles, I haven't talked
Hey,
or heard from
Charles.
Charles in a while.
What is up, buddy? Good to see
What's
you.
going on?
Good to see you.
Casey is here and Robert S.
Robert and Joshua Evans.
Oh, sorry.
Joshua Evans, all the way up at the top, looking at us on Facebook. Let's take a look, Joey, what's going on around the state. Trout stocking is ongoing. We talked a lot about this stuff last week. I think it's almost like a repeat of what we talked about last week. Your best baits for stock trout are going to be those typical things that they eat when they're in captivity and being bred at the fish farms. Your Berkeley Power baits. Ball up some of that on a little treble hook. Throw it in on a short leader with an egg singer, Joey, an egg singer.
Singer?
You ever heard one of those?
Is that like Humpty Dumpty?
An egg singer. Was Humpty Dumpty the king?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll go there another time. Small inline spinners are also going to be worth tossing.
Garlic corn. Garlic corn.
Garlic corn.
Yep.
I told you, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I made a crap ton of garlic corn.
Most people have meth labs and stuff like that. You got like a garlic corn factory going.
I got a bait factory. I packaged up a crap ton of garlic corn and put it in my outside fridge. And I went out the other day and opened up the freezer because I put it in the freezer, and the whole freezer smells horribly, just garlic, overpowering garlic. So we're gonna get us after some garlic this year, though. I'm telling you.
Feathered jigs under bobbers with slow stuttered retrieves will attract some panfish like crappie, bluegill, and perch this time of year. Chain pickerel are going to be the most consistent bite right now. Throughout the state. Still find them active in ponds throughout the state. Tidal waters, like the Magathie, Severn, down here you can find them kind of in the creek. St. Mary's Lake has a good population of them for our neck of the woods, but doing a little driving and going north, you'll find the Mecca.
Cool.
So I did just get called out.
Phil said
Phil said if my paddle isn't mentioned here, I'm going to have some kind of questions for Joey. Yeah. Don't worry, Phil. I don't even know what Brian wrote down, and I know Brian wrote down your paddle.
I wrote down a bunch of stuff. And Joey, you don't look at show notes anymore.
I don't. So I'm just going.
I'm pretty sure you and I are on the same page. Yep. We're kind of like in sync on this. So I think maybe we're going to get it. I'm going to do my catch up first, and then you can talk about stuff that's going on in the world of paddle at the shop. It's obviously really short. February magazine is out. I was able to beat the snow, and I got everything out ahead of time because this is my worst fear is having to run around delivering magazines. The e-magazine's online. You can catch that there, but you can also look for the print magazine. It's out. You got some in the shop, right? I dropped some off.
Sir.
Yeah, and it's got a nice picture. Finally, the cover is something that everybody in this neck of the woods can identify with. It's a nice big rockfish on the cover, so be on the lookout for that. I am taking some time, Joey. I captured a lot of video end of last summer and fall. When we started doing this, I guess, what was it, in June? I was doing a lot of weekly YouTube videos up until about June or July.
You were.
And then we started doing this, and this takes up a lot of time, so it kind of like that fell by the wayside, but I was still running cameras on the boat when I was fishing. So I've got a whole bunch of footage from last summer into the fall, and I've started to put together a few videos on it. I'm going to take my time and kind of really do them nice, and I've got one I'm working on right now, which is the Creek, which I think is kind of a nice tie-in and a nice focus for what I'm going to be doing this year with Maryland Kayak Outfitters and Fort Hill Kayak Anglers. So I'm working on that, and hopefully that will be out in the next week or two. I'm not going to rush it. I want to do it nice and nice transitions, and I want to make it nice.
Yeah.
I want to make it nice for the people.
Quality.
Making it nice for the people.
You do that like 24 frames per second. You get cinematic sound and all the other stuff to go with it. Yeah.
And actually make it very,
not GoPro looking.
Not Marvel. I'm not going to do I don't know.
Should do a Marvel fishing video.
Ooh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. You could wear a cape. No cape for you.
No, I buttoned my flannels. That was a callback,
That was
Brian.
a callback, Joey. Good job. Good job. A callback that nobody in the podcast.
No one knows. There's a couple people listening to the bike one too.
What is going on in your world? What is up over there at the kayak paddle shop?
Paddle shop, not too much different. Kind of in that weird lull. I got a lot of Yak Attack stuff in. I'm waiting on a Bending Branches order to show up. Speaking of paddles, I'm finding myself ordering stuff earlier, or having stuff shipped earlier and earlier, versus like the end of March ship date that I scheduled everything for. Yeah. People were itchy this winter. We've had a mild winter. It hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
I'm still never going to sell dry suits. Sorry. Maybe in a few years, but that's an investment.
That's a serious. I have one. I very seldom use it.
Yeah.
I just, for some reason, I don't fish a lot when it's really super cold out. I don't know what it is. I just.
No, that's kind of shop stuff. I mean, it is. It is what it is. I have my chugged or slugged my Titan down. It sits in the store now. It'll probably sit there through the rest of the season, off season, so it can get rigged.
You cleaned it up nice too.
I never let it get dirty. I keep mine clean. No, so we can't get a native so until March 30th. So I have multiple people. But my list is I have an Excel sheet of boats coming in that were 100% stock boats, and I don't know if I'm gonna have any stock boats on the floor.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I have a couple more people in the last few days. getting those reserved.
Nice.
So I just I fill out someone's name next to it. So it's just kind of a realization that I can't order anymore until like I have a June order. So it's going to suck.
Oof.
So I'm gonna try to work myself some more in there. I'm still working on a couple other companies.
Yeah.
Personally, I didn't fish this last week. We went up to Annapolis to see a friend yesterday. Next Monday, I have a service at Subaru, and I get a loaner car. So I'm actually going to go up to a couple rivers, creeks that aren't too far away while my car is getting worked on for a short period of time, and then pick up my car and come home. I figure that's a good way to kill time.
Yeah, and also loading up that rental with a whole bunch of like stinky waders.
Waders and no, I'm pretty good.
I like that. I like that idea.
The trick with waders, my trick with waders and stuff, especially this time of year, and I don't want to get my new car dirty, is I keep my cooler in the back.
Right into a cooler.
See, I take my waders inside out, inside out, and I put them right in the cooler with my boots. But I do have like that WeatherTech rubber mat in the back. I need the WeatherTech ones up front. But no, I know, and then you just pick up the cooler and just a little Yeti.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, into my bag. So I'm not really getting it messy.
Now, I noticed you've got your boots up for sale.
Oh, yeah.
Your boots. You just going to keep using them, or you got something different?
I think I need to take them down. I think I'm going to use them because of a trip, and that's it.
Okay.
So I'm actually getting really tired of the BOA.
The closure.
Those boots are like 10 years old.
So those folks that don't know, BOA closure is a dial.
Yeah,
it's got like a
steel. It's got a
cable.
cable that's coated, and it works really nice in almost every condition. I think cycling shoes. I have them on multiple different manufacturer shoes. Those boots. Those boots were one of the early renditions from Sims, and I feel like the last few trips, every time I squat down or something, that it slowly comes undone. Then you start, I hike a lot with those, and you like a nice tight boot.
Yeah.
And I feel like I constantly. So I'm doing a Catskills trip in May, and I'm doing a couple drifts on a drift boat, and I like studs.
If we were still naming podcasts after funny things that get said in the middle of
I like studs in the bottom of my boots, but you don't wear studded boots on a drift boat. You don't want to screw up the guy. It's a nice boat.
Yeah.
So I want some laces, and then those will just be.
Well,
So-
I like my BOAs on my bike shoes.
Yeah, they're great on the bike shoes.
Yeah,
the
I do.
the wear and tear that are on those boots versus bike shoes totally different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? And I might BOAs have a lifetime warranty, so I might get new BOAs on there and call it a day.
I've replaced BOAs on bike shoes multiple times, and that is really nice because you just call them and out they come. But usually the problem is that you're looking for a replacement because one has broken.
Yeah.
So then you've got that waiting period till the new BOA shows up. Have you ever
Yep.
have you ever broken them on your wading shoes, on your wading boots?
Nope.
No. Okay.
No, those are those are really reinforced.
Okay.
They're not like they're not as nimbly bimbly as the cycling shoes.
Okay.
But I
They're
also,
delicate.
I have extra bows for all my cycling shoes.
I have some extra ones for
So
mine too.
From day one, I started selling colored ones for a time, and I started buying those. And then my S-Work shoes are like that nice Swiss style.
I'm not crazy about them. Let's not dip off into the
Yeah.
to the bike world. We're getting ready to dip into bike world, and I don't want to do that.
No, that's kind of my rundown. I don't know how you're going with this, but I am a huge Bending Branches supporter.
All right,
fan.
let's go ahead. We're
They
let's
make
dive
the
into
number
it.
one angling paddle in the market.
So we're going to talk specifically about what goes into the paddle selection when you talk about fishing kayak paddles.
Does it look cool?
We're going to focus solely on obviously the Euro style paddle. It's the most common. Other styles of paddles, the Aleut and the Greenland style paddles, they have their place in the kayak world, but not in the fishing world. You're familiar with what I'm talking about. They're very long and thin. They don't have the big bulb catch at the
I
end.
know.
They're just basically look like sticks.
This is a stick with a couple
Yeah.
handles on it. Yeah.
And they got flat edges.
They're good for transitional and touring style kayaks.
They're very efficient, and that's why. So if
Yep.
you're going for a long distance, for a long ways, those can be very efficient. But we're not talking about them because we're looking for that paddle that's got the wide blade that's going to give you maximum catch in the water. So there's three main areas that I think you disagree with me if you think I'm wrong. I don't know what else is there to think about, but length, the blade material and the shaft material.
That's literally
That's the whole paddle.
Yeah, that's the
But
whole.
I was just thinking of the other things that
When I talk to people, it's boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when thinking about length, make sure to take into account three things. And the first two are the most important from a fishing perspective: is your height and the width of your boat.
Yeah.
You can think a little bit about how you paddle and how you go about your business in the boat. If you're experienced enough to know that I need a paddle that's a little more durable, or I can get away with something that I'm not using it that much. That's sort of your style. But the two things you really need to think about is your height and the width. Because if your paddle is too short in a fishing kayak, you may actually have a very hard time actually reaching the water.
What'll happen is either won't get the whole blade in, or you're doing the really aggressive high style
that's
paddling
tough
to get
on
the whole blade.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Tough on the shoulders, tough on,
Yeah.
that. But the flip side is if your paddle is too long, two things are going to be happening. It's either going to be heavier than you need it to be, or, and probably both of these things, your strokes are going to be further from the boat, which in turn is going to introduce zigzag into your paddling. So now you're using more energy than you need to because the boat is being pulled in different directions as opposed to tracking straight. There are tons and tons and tons of charts out there that are available to guide you based on your height and the width of your boat to give you a good starting place from a length perspective. Anything else you need to think that's important? And I've actually got some sizes. When we kind of wrap it up, we'll talk about specifics for putting all of these three different things together: the length, the blade material, and the shaft material, and make some recommendations. But is there anything else that you can think about that's from a length of the paddle perspective that could be a problem or something to consider?
No, I'd say, recreational people, we size it like skis.
Okay.
And then there's some boats that are specific. But, fishing, it's a whole different type of thing because the boats are getting so wide. Boats are getting bigger, they're heavier.
And you're sitting higher.
You're sitting higher. There's a lot of factors. So, I don't know. It's like anything, you buy the best one you can afford. Even if you have a Propel boat, you're going to use a paddle at some point in time.
You'll need it. You may not need it as much, and that can come into play with weight.
Mm-hmm.
You may not really be so concerned with the paddle because you're not using it as like a paddle all the time. It's not your primary means of propulsion. It's either your emergency means of propulsion or it's fine-tuning something as you're moving in and out of a ramp or off of a launch or something like that. So looking at blade material, so there are tons of options out there. You've got plastic, fiberglass, carbon fiber, or even wood. Now,
Kevlar.
What's that?
Yeah, Kevlar too.
Kevlar. Well, I mean, I kind of lumped that in with okay, maybe I don't then. So Kevlar too. But what is your opinion? Wood paddles. You see, they have a lot of them, and they are absolutely beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. You're reinforced with fiberglass.
Yeah.
They sometimes approach even being a work of art, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But the durability factor comes into play. Where do you stand on an everyday paddle for a fishing kayak being wood?
It depends. Am I using a Bonafide or am I using a... I actually have a Bending Branches Navigator, which is the wood one, and I have an Angular Pro Plus. And I also have a Bending Branches, a wooden stand-up one. What they do is they reinforce the edges with like carbon fiberglass weave. Yeah,
and then they're reinforced.
Yeah, like rock hard.
Yeah.
I think you treat it the same.
Okay.
It's not like one of the cheap, $10 canoe paddles, which work great, don't hold up every time well to abuse, but the branches and stuff, those things are really solid.
Okay.
I think you just treat it the same.
Yeah.
I'm probably more afraid of my fiberglass or carbon than I am. Mine's a carbon shaft, but the blade itself, that thing is really strong.
Okay.
So that, and you buy a reputable brand, and if something happens with it, they repair it.
Yeah.
I think there's more nostalgia than saying, I just want to get a new one. I want my paddle.
Right.
So
So
it's got some patina on it.
do you sell a lot of wood paddles?
I go through a couple a
boys?
year.
Yeah.
I'm stocking more and more. I think it's one of the things where if you have it, you'll sell it. Once people see it, and
And they go, oh,
Yeah, that's
an
beautiful.
option.
yeah,
Yeah. Because they are pretty. I mean, they're absolutely.
oh yeah,
They're gorgeous.
and they're still light. My wooden one's only a little bit heavier than my fiberglass Kevlar combo. I don't know. I don't take it out as much because I also leave mine in my boat and beat up. And my Angler Pro Plus is a beautiful paddle, and I try not to leave that in my boat. Like I'll stash it in my boat. You saw how I store my
Inside,
stuff.
yeah.
I have a paddle stuck in my boat, and I have a paddle in my boat at the same time.
I think wood's got this kind of like it's not as durable kind of
Yeah,
mindset. But
I could see
they've
that.
done things, so it's just not quite as popular. So your high impact plastic,
Yeah.
highly durable, can take a crap ton. Also very affordable from a blade perspective.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the blades that you're going to find on some of your most affordable paddles.
Yeah.
Fiberglass reinforced plastic
Yeah.
maintains the durability.
That's not so bad.
No, it maintains the durability of the plastic, and the fiberglass serves to reduce weight and also stiffen the blade to make it a little bit more efficient. So,
Yeah.
wood, pretty, can be made durable. High impact plastic, very durable, very affordable. Add in some fiberglass, ups keeps the same durability but reduces the weight. And then what you were just talking about, carbon fiber blends, that's going to be your lightest weight blade on the market. And how do they stand up from a durability perspective?
Carbon stuff?
Yeah.
Well, that stuff's, I got old carbon paddles in the
Yeah.
store that I've fixed and little things here and there. It's usually not the carbon itself, it's hardware.
Yeah.
Because the hardware doesn't last as long.
Oh,
And carbon, if, from bike side, carbon's repairable.
Mhm.
Uh,
I
we're
especially think from a paddle perspective.
Yeah.
Like a carbon frame on a bike, that's a little different
Yeah.
from, if that fails on you after a repair,
Mhm.
that's catastrophic. But you can fix a carbon fiber blade.
Yeah.
Okay.
The, no, they're super strong. And it's night and day when you pick up a carbon paddle and a $60 aluminum shaft plastic head paddle. I mean, I don't know, it's a couple thousand strokes a mile or something you use.
Mhm.
So think about like that weight difference.
Now, I mean, it really comes into play if you're on a paddle drive boat.
Yeah.
Because you're continuing. If you've got any sort of wrist issues,
Mhm.
elbow issues, shoulder
Yeah.
issues, that weight over 1,000 paddles
Oh,
a
yeah.
mile is going to really come into play and impact you. So,
Mhm.
and I, we're taking sort of a beginner approach, but I do think that it's right to kind of walk through what the
Yeah.
options are out there, so that
Yeah.
when I go into a shop and I look. And I look at the paddle and I go, I don't know what the difference is between the prices.
Yeah.
You've got some sort of a bearing set where you can actually look at.
Mhm. And like I don't know how, I know we have more sessions I can go over. Like I don't carry every paddle, but I carry sections of paddles.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of them. But right now I have like literally one model of paddles in the store because we sold too many at the end of the season to carry over.
No.
They all have their purposes. There's the $60 to $100 paddles are there to get people going,
Mhm.
and it's perfect to get out for a while. And then
Right.
paddle's a nice upgrade over time.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So it's something to like shoot for.
So looking at shaft material, the last of the three
Yeah.
things, mainly you're going to find some aluminum, fiberglass, and again, carbon.
Yep.
Aluminum's going to be your most affordable and again, highly durable. And we're talking about the entry level. In the entry level, the
Mhm.
durability, it can be a
Yeah.
huge factor because you don't know you're going to bang this thing up. You're going to stick it in the mud. You're going to
Yep.
knock it with a rock. Something that's durable is going to be important. Step up then again to fiberglass. They're going to be lighter than the aluminum,
Mhm.
and again maintaining though that level of durability. And the carbon, next step up the rung of the ladder. The advantage there being the lightest weight, but of course, there's a price tag that goes along with that as
Yep.
well. So you're looking at these options when you tie them all together. I
These
think that the
eyes.
real advantages, in my opinion, of from my homework and my research, was when you step up to that higher end paddle. It's the weight factor
Yeah.
and the wear and tear on your upper body joints
Mhm.
that's going to take place from kind of lugging something around that's heavier. It's not so that
I got bad shoulder.
so there you have it. And now keep in mind too that fishing kayaks are the widest type of kayak on the market to create the stablest platform to fish from. So you combine that with the raised seating styles, that means you're going to want the longest recommended paddle length for your height, and they're typically going to fall within 230 to 260 centimeters.
Yep.
And you can find a lot of ways to adjust them. Some of the paddles are going to have notches where you can adjust the feathering, where you can spin it, the blade. One thing I saw when I was doing some homework, Joey, and I don't know that much about, was the angle of the paddle.
Yeah.
There's high angles and low angles. Do you know much about that?
We're talking about like paddling style, or like is it feathered, non-feathered?
Not feathered. There was different the blades themselves. It seemed like some were classified.
Oh yeah,
as-
because there's different types of paddling. Like high angle paddling. It's like the name. It's usually people that are. I'm trying to think of an example of a person that does it. It's not a person, but someone's. I'm trying to describe it just like it is.
Okay.
They're paddling at a higher angle. Usually,
Lifting it up.
yeah, they're usually putting a little bit more effort forth. They're digging in the water. They kind of have a nice groove. They're kind of locked into the boat. Doesn't mean it's a bad paddling style. A lot of the low angle is a little bit more of a
shallower kind
yeah.
of.
I kind of look at the more of the touring type of folks doing that, and I'm probably backwards. I don't know.
But from a fishing perspective,
Yeah, fishing perspective. I don't
it's
have
really,
a specific. Yeah,
Yeah, it's literally.
Yeah.
Because I noticed, and I was looking at the Bending Branches catalog.
yeah,
I
because
knew
some of
the
their
book
stuff's
you carried.
designed high angle, low
Right.
angle.
And I was curious.
Your whitewater guys and stuff, they're high angle paddlers.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was something that came into play for a fishing kayak perspective. Yeah, and Casey makes a point. A high angle sounds more like a paddleboard paddling in a kayak. Yeah, I mean that makes sense because you're paddling from a higher position.
Yeah, well, no,
your
your
angle is different.
It's just the you're sitting in the same. It's some person can paddle the same boat, two different styles. But
Okay.
generally, I look at the more aggressive or the whitewater people doing the high angle stuff.
Okay.
The low angle is the touring, the day trippers, stuff like that, the long
Okay.
distance.
Okay.
So
So now I've got a very specific recommendation, and it's the paddle that I use,
yeah,
and I'm going to explain to you why. And then Joey, I'm sure you're going to have some recommendations coming from the shop perspective. I'm on the Angler Classic, the Bending Branches Angler Classic.
Yep.
It offers a nice price point. Retails at only $140. It is a fiberglass shaft with fiberglass reinforced nylon blades, and it's a great value for the money. Maybe a little bit heavy, but that's okay for me.
Yeah, you don't use it a lot.
Because I'm on a pedal drive boat.
Yep.
I'm not actually handling that paddle all day long.
Yep.
Like I remember the day we went out to Mallows Bay and your dad was with us and he was in that little SS
The RS 117?
RS. Oh, that little Bonafide.
Yeah.
And he was fighting that. I was just, watching, fighting that wind
Mm-hmm.
and just moving that paddle all day long. Now,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother conversation with pedal drive boats versus paddle boats.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of I've got to handle this piece of equipment all day long, and I've got to move it, and I've got to, the lighter weight that's going to be a heavy piece of equipment is certainly going to be something that you want to think about if you're in actually a paddle boat. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my recommendation from that perspective. Do you have any specific paddles that you would like to recommend and why?
I do most. I carry a lot of those. That's why you got one, Phil got one. A lot of people. I sell most of all of my natives with those, but even the Bonafide guys are. The Angler Classic is probably one of the most popular fishing paddle on the market. But Bending Branches also makes like the best angling paddles out there. I don't know, they get you a little best of everything without breaking the bank. I personally have the Angler Pro, which is fiberglass head and a carbon shaft. At the time, I didn't stock a lot, so it was easier for me to own one, and then if someone wants to check it out and order it.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's why I generally have certain items.
Yeah, that makes good sense.
I have it, and people can play around with it. People want to try it out. It's this year I'm actually stocking stuff, so that's gonna be a little different. But no, that's kind of like the best middle of the road paddle. I think that Angler one, someone that doesn't fully want a 100% angling paddle, around the same price. I think Bending Branches makes a paddle called the Slice. It's a similar concept.
Yeah.
It's a few dollars cheaper. It only goes up to I think 240 lengthwise. But
Well,
after
that could be a problem if you're on a
Yeah.
a
Well, say
fishing kayak that's got an elevated platform.
well, that's what I'm
and you're
saying.
a
It only
bigger
goes up
guy.
to 240.
Yeah.
It depends on your boat, and if you want an in between paddle. But they also make telescoping paddles, which is really cool. They have them from it'd be like 235 to 250, and they have different size windows for that, which is really cool.
That's actually would be a great entry paddle, because then if you weren't sure what length is right for you with your style and your boat, and
Yeah.
you could actually play around with that and kind of get a feel for it. And then when you actually went to, like you said, upgraded
Yeah.
the paddle and went to something a little more expensive, now you're in a position of when you spend that money, it's something that's dialed in for your boat, who you are,
Yeah.
how you fish it, how you paddle it.
So,
Okay.
like yours is also, so that's called the Classic Plus. Yours is a snap button, so you have a snap
Yeah.
button paddle.
And that allows me to change the feather.
Yep.
So if I needed
And the Classic Plus is telescoping, and it's infinite feathering. So it's pretty cool. They offer that in all their paddles.
now I
So
really
it is
like
heavier.
the Bending Branches. Yeah. And I'm okay with that because I'm not
Yeah.
handling it all day.
Yeah.
I like that on all of the Bending Branches paddles they put. I think it's all. Correct me if I'm wrong. They have the measuring. They don't put. Them on
Oh, I
all
thought you were
of
talking about the little dehooker.
them. No.
Yeah, they all have, which I can't really, I've never been able to use that thing.
the dehooker.
No, the measuring.
Oh, see, for me, because
It gets close.
well, yours it gets close. That's what I'm looking
Yeah.
for. Instead of actually having to pull out my catch board or pull out my hog trough and get that all lined up and get a fish laid on it. When my paddles secured on the side of my boat, I can just kind of lay the fish down on that crook, and I
Yeah.
can get a really close measurement as to
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
And if I can tell, it's okay. Well, my eyes were bigger than the fish,
Yeah.
and it was 17 and not 19.
Yeah.
I can pretty much tell that, but you never know. If it's the first fish of the day
Yeah.
and it's fatty, like a little football, and you pull it up out of the water, and you're thinking, man, that's a keep fish. That's a
Yeah.
keep fish. You're going home with me. And then you lay it up there on that because you get that real quick measure before you actually do something a little more,
Yeah.
a little more reliable on a catch board or something.
What were we talking about?
Have you
Oh.
ever used that? I've never used that little hook on the paddle that's for the.
No, so actually mine doesn't have the fiberglass ones.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, it's good in theory.
yeah.
I understand.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because I have one of the Slice, I have one of the Classic too, the green bladed one.
Right.
The Angler Classic. So occasionally that's on because usually when my dad goes out, I give my dad the Pro,
Yeah.
and then because I'm pedaling,
Yeah.
I put that one in my my
Not
paddle
this
slot.
year though. Not this year.
No,
coming
so
up.
my dad's got so he'll just have one stored back there anyway. There was a time where I think I did use it we were fishing the ponds, and I think I used that because I was afraid of a snake dropping out of that tree. So I figured, I can beat it with the paddle, or because you can put it together and you have it extends.
So you
pretty far.
you don't keep your paddle together on your boat though, do you? Because the way you
The
lay
natives have paddle
little-
storage.
the little
clips
slots,
in, yeah,
and you separate your paddle and put it down in the
Yep.
little side.
yeah.
On my top water, I've got a little side piece that I snap
Yeah.
the completed paddle
Ooh,
into.
I didn't think I talked about it. I made the Bending Branches paddle extenders, the clips.
Oh,
you
yeah,
saw in
yeah,
the story,
yeah.
or the Yak Attack. Sorry,
With the extenders, you
the
had
4-inch extenders, the paddle clips, and then the T-bolts, and it holds it out and away. That thing is awesome.
Yeah.
So I have some staged so they're ready to be, if someone wants them.
So you may actually find when you're fishing this season, you end up using that little measuring.
Oh, I'm not putting that on my boat.
Oh, you're not
This-
putting it on your boat? I told
No,
you your
no,
boat
no.
now, though, right?
That's on the Bonafide.
Oh.
SS127.
I got confused when I come into the shop.
No, no, mine sits in two pieces in the back, clipped
Yeah.
away, tucked away, and I also have my Angler Classic is stuck in the back of my Titan because I stored it. So I have two paddles on my boat right now.
It's literally stuck in the boat.
It's wedged in there somewhere. I just got to tilt the boat up and whatnot. So
Just put it straight up and down and start banging it on the ground. Just
120 pounds.
yeah, just bang it on the ground. Right. Make sure you do it out here on the concrete though.
Yeah, Joey. Phil says I'm still cool.
Anybody have any
Yeah.
comments on paddle?
Russell did say real quick, high angle is maneuverable and compact, but gets paddle. Yeah, so drip rings will not do anything at that point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ideal for whitewater when you're wet anyway and need to maneuver around rocks rapidly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil says I'm still cool. My dad says if you're paddling, get the best and lightest you can afford.
You know, that's
Yeah.
actually that's good advice for anything. Get the best of the thing, whatever it is that you can afford. Don't go any further than that.
Yeah.
You know, you set a budget for what you're looking at, and then get the best you can afford because that's what's going to actually end up lasting you the longest.
Southern Maryland yak anglers will get 15% off bending branches.
Are you doing that?
I was about doing something. I joked about it when you were talking about doing your thing, but I was
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah.
You get you get a little bit more paddle. I don't know, 15% off.
Negotiate with you
Yeah.
then. Huh?
Russell
Negotiate.
said I have a 240 slice and use it on my Crescent LT, but it has a relatively low seat. Yeah,
Okay.
I like the slice paddles a lot. I think they're probably one of our best selling paddles. And he says it works wonderfully.
Cool.
Charles says I've had many of those days. Catch a fish and think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
To upgrading into catch board and it's 15 inches. Adrenaline will get you. Yeah,
And that's particularly true, Charles.
that's usually when he's out fishing you.
Well, no, it's particular. Well, Charles outfishes me all. he outfished me all summer last year. But it's particularly, you know, when these little stripers in the creek, they were like little footballs, and you would get that fish out there, and you would swear it's going to be a 20, 22 inch fish, and you
Yeah.
get it to the boat, and it's 15 or 16 inch fish, and they're just so doggone fat. They're sitting down there eating the bunker and. Oh, so did you actually have, any other recommendations besides bending branches? What kind of quality paddles are out there?
Werner, I think Bending Branches and Werner, most people I would say consider the better brands. Aquabound too. Aquabound's a sister company, Bending Branches. They have they kind of group their paddles a little bit more touring, expedition, some recreational, where Bending Branches opens it up to more all-around stuff with the fishing too. Werner makes some really nice paddles that, Bending Branches starts at $60 and goes up to $400 something dollars. I mean, you get everything in between, and they're all done out in Wisconsin or wherever. Werner's another really good one. They're out of Washington State. They have a bunch of paddles from, X price and up. So same thing, good quality. They kind of back all their stuff too. We used to do Cannon paddles, which they were all right, but I phased those out.
I'll read this one. The comment from my kid: 0 out of 10 do not recommend using a snow shovel as a paddle, but can confirm it will get you across the creek in a pinch.
That sounds like something that would come from you guys.
I'll raise them up right.
I have forgotten my paddle and actually needed it, my native.
Yeah.
And I used the hatch cover that covers the drive unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
Sure, absolutely.
I think I was on the water with you or something.
What is your opinion of little hand paddles? Just the
They're-
little.
we talked about if you
little
really
hand-
needed a pinch, I wouldn't give it to like people on a rental for clients.
No.
If you need like Eric Packard carries that.
Yeah.
It stores under a seat, and it's
Just
really only if something happens.
For that little maneuverability, if you need
Yeah.
it to kind of move the boat in a certain direction.
Yeah.
I mean, I could almost use my push pole.
Well, what if you're in 30 feet of water?
That's what I'm saying. When I'm launching a boat,
Yeah.
when I'm at the ramp and I'm pushing the boat in, a lot of times my paddle actually gets pushed against pilings and pushed against different things, and so I
Yeah.
probably abuse that a little bit. Should probably carry the push pole.
I will say, so I find a lot of paddles in my trips of working in a battle sports store.
Really?
And I got a lot of the Lifetime and what is the one Dick sells, which are great paddles that come real stylish. They're like $30. Man, those things are so heavy.
Yeah.
Like they look great, and like I sell a lot of paddles because
Well,
of
you
that.
know the little
which is,
the little janky paddle I had on my boat when I
I
first
made you buy a new paddle.
before, yeah, because I was like, I can't be doing these videos. I had this janky paddle all up in my boat, but it was what I had
No.
at the time.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this paddle either, because we get a lot of people. They get people into the sport. And And that's people usually upgrade after using this for a little bit. I usually find them, and I leave them in my shop for someone comes by and say, "Hey, I lost my paddle," or I see it on the Facebook groups. But I think I collected like 5 paddles after floods last year in the creek.
Oh, nice.
Like up in trees and stuff. People were just forgetting their stuff everywhere.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Here's a question in the live stream. Michael, unrelated, was asking the name of the phone
What's
leash.
the phone leash you?
Rogue.
It's all the KBF people.
Yeah, Rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue.
ROUGE or GUE.
ROGUE. Love it. Absolutely love it. Clips right into my jacket and pull it out, throw it around. And I actually changed my phone. They have a little rubber gasket that goes sort of around the phone. But for the bike, I went to a quad lock. And I put the finger ring on the back of the quad lock. So I've got that piece on the back of the phone. And I took the little rubber piece that wrapped around the phone off and put a carabiner.
That's a
on this
quad
end.
lock and one of those little ringer
This
dingers.
pops out.
Dang.
So this goes into my quad lock on the bike.
You
and then
fancy.
This actually goes in.
You still ride with that on your bike on the front?
Sometimes when I use it when I'm touring.
Oh, I know you use
I-
it touring.
I
I
use
didn't know
it
if your everyday rides.
I don't use it every day now.
Oh, took a picture of me.
I didn't mean to. Sorry, these phones are so stupid anymore. But
Finicky.
that works really well, and to clip that.
You could
that
even
little Rogue
could you
tether.
use a zinger too, just in case?
A what?
A little zinger with a clip.
No,
A zinger?
the little bzz, bzz
Yeah.
things. No, it's more like a coil.
No,
The
but
Rogue-
in a pinch, you could use a zinger with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. Just a little carabiners on either side of them. So there's that.
Ooh, fight,
Um,
fight.
Charles said, speaking of KBF, March is the start of the KBF Challenge Series for Maryland. Charles, I'm not sure how much I'm going to fish KBF this year. I don't with
He
the,
will, Charles. Don't worry.
No, with the guide business, I need to spend time on the creek, and there are no largemouth in the creek.
You
I
sure?
need to fish the creek. Yeah, I don't know how much KBF action I'm going to see this year. I'm probably still going to renew, but Charles, I'm not sure where you're at when they went away from Tourney X to the new Chaos app, fishing Chaos app. That is. I'm having a hard time keeping up with when you use the Tourney X app for KBF, when you use the fishing kayak Chaos thing.
Just use Greg.
It just got all kind of squirrely for me and went sideways. And I know some series, like the Challenge Series, uses one app, and then the tournament uses a different app. And I don't know what KBF is doing with all of that stuff with their apps, but for me, it's gotten a little bit confusing. So. I promised you a weird story, Joe, and you haven't read this, have you?
Nope.
Did you read it?
I
in the show notes?
don't know how to read.
You haven't read in the show notes. Okay. And so you file this under the "you can't make this stuff up" category. So doctors in Colombia removed an 18-centimeter fish from a man's throat. That's like a 7.5.
Columbia, South
8
Carolina?
inch- No, Colombia, like the country Colombia. So apparently a 24-year-old man was out fishing for food for his family when he managed to catch a fish. That's what you're out to doing when you're, a little 7-inch fish. I'm not sure who that's going to feed. But after grabbing the fish in his hands, he threw the line back into the water, at which point a second fish immediately bit the bait on the line. With the first catch still in his hands, he wasn't sure what to do to avoid losing the second, so he decided to place the original fish in his mouth while he reeled in the second fish. And this did not end particularly well. The moment he placed the fish inside of his mouth, it moved to try and free itself, ending up lodging itself in the young man's throat. And
He die?
Could not extract it. He actually walked himself to a hospital, barely breathing, where he was not able to communicate exactly what was going on, but why he couldn't breathe. Then they had to perform a weird thing and there's a YouTube video of this, and I watched it is so disturbing because you know how a fish with it
Scales and
it's just basically they had to rip this fish out of this poor guy's throat. It was the most bizarre thing I have seen, and how that caught my eye and how it even came across my radar, I have no idea, but that is literally the last thing I could ever imagine. Can you imagine the moment, though, when you shove the fish in your mouth and then it wiggles its way down and you realize that That
I don't even like
coming-
talking about it.
fish ain't coming back out.
There's a February KBF challenge.
There might be a February
Yeah.
KFL.
Yeah, Michael. They have a saltwater series, and I was really close to pulling the trigger on a couple redfish tournaments last year, but
Now I know
it's
that
time.
from a saltwater perspective, KBF has been talking about doing striper, just
Yeah.
doing a striped bass thing, but they're still trying to figure all of that
No,
out.
my problem with the redfish one is I'm competing with people like
Yeah.
in places where 25-inch redfish is normal.
Well, no. I mean, if they do it like the challenge series where it's by region,
It was region, but the region for up here was like ridiculous. It was all the way down to like
well, if he goes down into
just
like
north
North
of
Carolina,
Charleston.
yeah, that's a whole nother world.
You don't have to go far south from here to do well. I guess maybe I should travel this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know I don't want to fish in my throat.
Yeah, no, I was trying to avoid going back to that.
I'm going to show you the video.
No,
on that.
I won't watch it.
It's really.
I'm
and,
okay.
And the doctor's holding up this fish because the guy had obviously.
Are we
tried
doing
to-
this or that?
He tried to pull the tail out, so the tail had been ripped off, and it was really disturbing. It was very, very disturbing. You want to do this or that?
Yeah, let's do it.
So everybody in the
Oh
live
man,
stream,
you're going right back to it.
everybody in the live stream, please be sure to play along with this or that this week. Joey, would you rather get a live fish stuck in your throat or step on a hook?
I'll step on
with
a hook.
barefoot in your kayak.
I'll step on the hook.
You'll take stepping on the hook.
Yep.
I think
I
hands
fish
down.
barbless.
I would take stepping on the hook. Everything you fish barbless? Everything you fish is barbless?
I tried
You
to.
switch
I forgot
on
a couple of my like Zara spooks to totally
Yeah.
like take off the treble and go barbless. But I'm a barbless fan.
I would definitely take stepping on a hook over getting a live fish stuck in my throat. It sounds horrible, and you're disturbed by it, and you didn't even see the video. I watched the video. It is truly.
They're both horrible. I don't know why you posted them. Just Russell just said that.
Everybody's saying they would take the hook, though. Joey, would you rather live on a farm or live in the suburbs?
That's a tough question
Yeah,
because you could have some place in the suburbs that's quiet, away.
I kind of view
I
where
like
we're at.
I kind of like the atmosphere I'm in.
Yeah,
I feel like a farm is a lot of work.
we were talking about the other day. You live in a great spot.
I love where I live.
You're only like 2 miles from work, and
I'm tucked away from everything else.
yeah, not a lot of drama. It's quiet down here at the end of this. You got
We're
little
on the
gravel.
creek.
Yeah,
We got the fields. We got the water.
Yeah, you're in a nice spot here.
I guess-
you should.
I would, as much as I want a farm, but you say farm until you got to do all this stuff.
I'd love to have chickens and goats.
Until you got to take care of them.
No,
You got to hire. Yeah,
No.
everyone's going to say farm until 40 acres of work comes to play, and you got to do all that crap. Nope, there's less time for fishing.
not going near it.
Yeah.
I would probably.
Oh, everyone said farm.
I would go with farm. I would definitely, absolutely go with farm. Billy
Alright.
said farm. Casey said farm. Sean said farm.
Everyone
Russell
said
said
farm.
he does live on a farm. So
You see, see, it's exactly what I'm saying. Limits
so
your fishing time.
limits the time to fish.
You know what's
But
great?
you don't have to. When I say farm, you don't have to actually
Thanks,
work the
Dad.
farm.
Then it's not a farm.
Well, it kind of is a
No.
farm. No, when my grandmother, my mother grew up on a tobacco farm in North Carolina, and when my grandmother was older, she still owned the farm, but they leased the land to somebody else to actually farm it. So they grew soybean and tobacco.
Farm. There goes all your fishing time.
Well,
You
no,
know what's? I mean, I'm very fortunate, and I pay an HOA, but I don't do any of my yard work, or
No.
I'm living the life.
Yeah.
I do pay for it, but you know what that means on Sundays or whatever day. I didn't shovel my snow the other day,
That's nice.
so I'm not cutting my grass.
Would you come to my house and shovel the snow then?
No, you didn't shovel the snow,
I
and I
didn't shovel
slipped and
snow.
almost died going down your hill
We
yesterday.
did not have nearly enough
At the
snow.
very end of your driveway, that almost caused a jam.
Why were you getting out of the car? Oh, when you're driving.
What was that?
Oh, down at the end of the
I was just
road.
making fun of you. Yeah, you should've- no.
Okay, I just caught
No,
up.
you have a tractor.
Yeah, the tractor wouldn't do anything in
No,
that snow.
I'll drive my happy ass ever, shovel my dad's driveway, and I will come back over.
Casey said more room for dogs. That's always good. Robert said farm. Michael's 100% farm, but he grew up on one. Chris wants to live on a farm. Your dad, Paul, he wants to live in the suburbs.
See?
Because your dad, you guys think a lot. You see who raised you. Farm is work. Phil wants to live on a farm. Billy, there it is. Lease the
Yeah,
land.
the government's give me
Yeah.
tax dollars.
And I agree, Sean. Just what I just said. You don't have to actually farm to live on a farm. There we go. Russell says, but he had both chickens and goats. They're wonderful, but you can never leave. Hadn't thought about that perspective of it. Yeah, skip that. Chris, yeah, rent the fields, live in the country or the suburbs. Country, okay, yeah. And Chris said his dad rented out the fields when he moved away from the farm. So that that's sort of a good
when I
role of
we'll
father.
call it shacking up with my wife when we first started dating and moved in, our apartment complex was on a farm, like over. That was
Well, you lived over in the woods.
we lived over in Easton, and we
Yeah.
were on the outside of town, and we had this huge cornfields.
So, Michael, just perfect answer.
Yeah, I would say I was gonna say farm fish.
Yeah, farm fish. Have
Tell you
the
what.
land, dig a pond, plenty of time to fish. Farm ponds.
Goose season over there. Goose season. I mean, waterfowl season over here. I don't know if you hear all the shotguns at your house. I feel like some of them are right here in the creek.
No,
But-
no, we don't get them. We don't get
It
them.
actually, you can hear everything here. I also can hear taps and reveille or whatever over at base every day too. But yeah, the shotguns over there in Easton.
Yeah.
It'll wake you up at sunrise.
When I was over there the other day, there were a lot of people out on the farms,
Yeah.
out in the field, setting up their decoys. Okay, third item this week's this or that: spiders or snakes. Spiders or snakes, Joey? Spiders or snakes?
God,
Got to pick one.
I'm gonna go with spiders.
Why? I just want to hear you talk about how deathly
I don't-
afraid of snakes you are.
I hate you both. There's about everything else in the woods I'm okay with.
It's
Spiders and snakes.
Spiders and snakes.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
have a problem with other stuff.
Yeah.
No, God, no. There's something about. It just gives me the chills.
See, I don't mind snakes that much. I really don't. I had a dream the other night about snakes. They were I don't. Snakes
No,
don't
I hate
bother me
snakes.
much. Spiders though, they're sneaky. They're
Spider-
sneaky because they
There's something about the way a
hide.
snake moves. So unless it's one of those spricket spiders, I hate those things.
What kind of spread? What did you say?
I call it the spricket spider, the cricket spiders.
The camel spiders.
Oh, those things
Camel
hop.
crickets. They're actually crickets, but they look like spiders.
Yeah,
With the crazy
well,
legs, they
yep.
look like they belong on another planet. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
those actually. Those
No, snakes are the worst.
okay, so you would go with spiders.
Yeah,
So spiders, you can step on them too, but they're so sneaky. That for me.
spiders. I can blast them with some raid or something. With snakes, no.
Michael said snakes. Russell, snakes. Paul takes the spiders. Spiders for the win. Billy, spider for the win. I know. Casey is snakes. Never spiders. Never snakes. I understand. My daughter Casey is deathly afraid of spiders. Sean, snake. Robert, spiders. Hate snakes. Chris, spiders. They're good chocolate coated. Okay, you be you boo. Although those little jumping spiders are.
Oh, God.
cute. Oh no, those
It's 'cause
are
he
the
lives on
worst
a
ones.
farm.
Those are the worst ones. See, Billy, right. You can step on a spider. I agree. Phil went with spiders. Russell and Chris are having a little sidebar conversation. Michael, group trip to Blackwater for some snakes. Oh, snake heads. There we go. That's the ticket. Sean, you can pick up snakes, but you don't want to pick up a spider. Spiders are just sneaky. But anyway. Fourth item on this week's This or That, Joey. Meatloaf or pot roast?
Oh God, that's like spiders and snakes.
No.
No, I love pot roast.
Yeah.
I started liking meatloaf again in my older as I'm a tud in
Yeah.
life. When I was younger, have you ever graphic story? I was on the toilet, and at the same time I was throwing up meatloaf into the tub. If you haven't thrown up meatloaf before,
I think we've talked about this before.
God, I've hated meatloaf for a while. Recently, it was a year or two ago. It was at my parents' house.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just a big. My dad's right. It is just a big meatball.
Yeah.
And I had a piece of meatloaf. There wasn't bad meat. I had some recently where if you take a nice slice of meatloaf and then you slice it and then you put it back in the pan and get both sides crispy, that's really good.
Oh, like a beef version of a thick piece of scrapple.
Yeah. Well, you get a frying pan and get your scrapple double crispy, double fried. It's extra crispy.
I'm not a scrapple
It's not
fan.
mushy and it doesn't taste like liver.
No, I'm not.
But it's also double fat fried. It's not
But
good
I
for you
wrote
at all.
it, so scrapple's not on the table.
I love pot roast.
I like the pot roast because with the pot roast, it's like a whole dinner in the pot. You put the carrots and the potatoes in there, and you pull everything out. It's
I
just
love a
so
nice Sunday pot roast.
easy. Yeah, and it's like tender.
I like it the day after.
And the day after, you
Oh,
put
it
it on a
tastes
piece
better.
of bread with the yeah.
Mm. I like
But
gravy.
meatloaf's the same way. A meatloaf sandwich is pretty doggone good. A couple slices of white bread with some
Meatloaf,
mayonnaise.
meatloaf. I hate meatloaf.
No.
Remember
meatloaf's
that?
pretty good. No.
Christmas story.
No.
Meatloaf, beetloaf. That's the Fragile scene.
Okay.
The little brother Randy is eating meatloaf.
Eating like a pig from the trough?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had this conversation about meatloaf before, though, and I don't... Big. You and I have spent so much time talking to each other that we're bound to start repeating and not
jeez.
actually even remember it, but I'm having some sort of weird, like, little deja vu.
I think carrots are my favorite thing from pot roast.
Yeah. I like the
My
little
mom lied. I have to wear glasses. I ate a lot of carrots when I was little.
new potatoes, the little potatoes in it. Yeah. Okay. Live stream. Michael, meatloaf. Paul, meatloaf. Sean, pot roast. Paul, great cold meatloaf sandwiches. Yeah, see? Yeah, meatloaf sandwiches actually. But I got to warm my meatloaf up. Chris said, meatloaf is a hamburger with cooked ketchup. Russell says scrapple for the win over both.
Oh yeah.
Casey, pot roast, but I do really like meatloaf. Sean says that's called a hamburger.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. That's true. Casey disagrees with you.
Oh.
Potatoes are better than carrots.
That's.
And Robert went with meatloaf.
I'm gonna go with carrots.
I could go back and forth with the whole meatloaf versus pot roast thing. I could do this all day
You have an
long.
instant pot yet?
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna happen because I know you got an air fryer.
Yeah.
Instant pot roast is really good.
We've had the Instant Pot. The Instant
That's how we
Pot.
met each other.
No, the Instant Pot thing, we've had that. We've been on that game for a long time. And that's how I cooked my corn, for my carp corn.
Oh yeah.
In the Instant Pot. I pressure cooked it in the Instant Pot.
So I just every time you say that, I just think air fryer because you're all in the air fryer now.
Well, yeah, everybody's up all in the air fryer now.
Yeah. The air fryers were like 2 years ago.
Well, I'm
You
just
said 2,000 late? No,
I come late to the party. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Hey, Michael says he's got to go. His daughter's had a spider emergency. Oh, Billy, meatloaf on the smoker wrapped in bacon. Oh,
Oh man.
that actually sounds really good.
Can I go back real quick?
Sure.
In our
Whatever you
first year of owning our new paddle sports location, which was 10 years ago, Macintosh, when we were paddling it, and we had to clear out some. We now have crown tractors that do that. The town does, like people that actually have are lumberjacks, tree service guys and john boats. We were trying to do it in canoes, and I'm in the canoe with Wes. Did you hear the story about the chainsaw?
Oh, yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
this. But you
I,
tell it here because
That was a big wolf spider. I mean, it was about a 10-pounder. Fell in. I'm cutting down on a limb and had a running chainsaw. I dropped the chainsaw on the boat and hopped into the tree for some reason. Then I fell in the water, and the chainsaw's still going, and it's like working its way back to Wes. He's yelling at me. That was a huge spider. Oh,
anything to get away from the spider. But why you launched yourself into its
I don't
natural
know.
environment is beyond me.
and what's in that water is probably snakes. I mean, the amount of water snakes, copperheads or whatever, you can count the whole paddle. There's a lot.
You got anything else, Joey, before we shut this thing down?
No, I think there was some. I think I meant to mention Dustin Klein last episode. No, I think that's about it. We got to get through this next month of February.
Yeah. We're going to get there, everybody. Everybody stand by because it's happening. It's coming. If you're looking for us, folks, facebook.com/Angler Magazine Chesapeake. On Instagram @Chesapeake Angler. And you can find me at BN Range. Joey, how can folks get in touch with you?
Ooh, meatloaf and the smoker wrapped in bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Billy
How
just-
can folks get in touch with you?
well, they can come over and put their hand on my back, or my Instagram is at Joey Sikorsky24 at Pack Paddle Sports.
Pack Paddle Sports. Did you get that right this time?
Yeah, I think so.
For a long time, you were just saying
If anyone
Pack
wants to
Paddle.
leave us a voicemail about anything,
Yeah.
kayak, fishing, whatever related, meatloaf recipes, so it doesn't taste so bad, 410-231. Oh, man.
Do you not know it?
I just had a brain fart.
410-231.
3850.
3850. Leave us a voicemail.
Yeah.
You
and
can find us on-
if you mix that up, just rewind a little bit and listen over again.
You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Chesapeake Angler. And I have a bit of a specific ask for everybody tonight. On our gravel cycling podcast, we have a lot of folks that support us through Patreon and PayPal and send us money. We don't do that here on the fishing side. It's not something we've taken on. But if you're looking for some sort of a way that you can support what we're doing here, click over on the YouTube channel and click the subscribe button because we are very, very close to that magic 1,000 subscriber number. And lots of magic things happen on YouTube when you hit 1,000 subscribers. You begin to get elevated through the rankings.
You serious, Clark?
Yes, and things can do a lot better for you. So if you haven't done it already, pop over to YouTube, give us a subscribe on the channel. And maybe if you have already done it, maybe you can set up 3 or 4 extra Gmail accounts and go over and subscribe with those two.
That's not the way to do it.
We'll be okay with that too.
That's like those people with like 400,000 Instagram followers and they get like 20 likes.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, you buy
they're buying.
We want genuine
engagement.
Yeah.
We want genuine people. Don't make nothing up. But we are getting very close to that 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done so already, folks, please do us a favor. Click that button.
You know how I messed up our phone number?
Why?
Because I left 2 voicemails at work using our GTD phone number. There's only like 2 or 3 phone numbers I have to regurgitate.
Okay.
And I had to call the person back and say, wrong phone number.
You gave them the GTD phone
twice.
number?
Yeah.
And I would have gotten the message and been like, what are you talking
No,
about?
I most people knew after the fact.
If you're looking for it, folks, you can read the e-magazine online at ChesapeakeAnglerMag.com. Hop over there and check out the brag board. We've got some of our regulars in it this month. And I'd love to actually get some folks that are our regulars here on the podcast. I'd love to get some pictures in the brag board. So check out, there's actually an email address. I think it's the anglerchesapeake@gmail.com is the one we use to collect brag board photos. So you can send them our way. Getting ready to shut it down. You good, Joey? Anything else?
Good.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. And we will talk at you again next week.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Hey, everybody. Thank you on the live stream for hanging out with us. Do we still have anybody here, Joey? I can't tell anymore.
There's still 9 people listening.
YouTube. Okay. You guys make the show. Guys and gals make the show happen. Thank you very, very much for all of you. You give us as much laughter, I think, as we give you. So we very much appreciate your
You can really see that you're
contribution.
unbuttoned. I haven't looked at YouTube in a long time.
We did a thing on the last podcast where Joey was making fun of me because I never button a flannel shirt. And he does nothing but button his flannel shirts. And we had to get, you button all your flannel shirts.
I'm a man.
And he called me some bad names yesterday because of the way that I treat him like a jacket. You know, you got to be able to take it off quick.
Short sleeve jacket?
Well, no, you roll. I'm more comfortable this way.
Oh, boy.
I'm more comfortable this way. I don't know what it is. Anybody else out there? Anybody else? No? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.